Good morning, champions. Coach Tina here. It is Thanksgiving week. Who is excited about the week we have ahead of us? I know there will be a lot of excitement. So let me get us pinned to the top of the Empowering Champions community and we will get started. All right, there we are. We are pinned to featured, and hopefully, you guys are going to be able to come into the group this morning, watch the live or the replay. So if you're watching live, go ahead, hashtag live, or later if you're catching this because it's a crazy week. I totally get it. But go ahead and drop replay in there so that I know you're watching, and then more people will get alerted to what's happening. We didn't put a lot of invites out because Arnold, my trusty assistant in the Philippines, was at the hospital. His wife is in preterm labor, and they have been doing everything they can to calm her down and to help the baby stay in the belly that much longer. And so last night, when he finally got home from the hospital with his wife, he didn't have electric. And so totally understandable that we didn't get the invites out, but I wanted everybody to know that so that we could be praying for Arnold and his wife, Lady, and that this is their second child and they're a little nervous. They want everything to go well. The first child was born with full term, and so this is a new experience to them. And anybody that's had a preterm baby knows that this is a time of uncertainty, right? Which is never that much fun. But what I wanted to do was to come to you guys with Monday morning motivation. We are at 7 a.m. Central every Monday morning. And this is a time where I want to add as much value as possible to our memberships. This is a free, usually 20, 30-minute group or live that I do to you, and love the interaction and the information that goes on in here. This is actually the last in a series that we have called Grateful, Thankful, Blessed. And this is just a time for us, the month of October in the United States. This week we have our Thanksgiving, and yeah, it's what it sounds like. It's when we give thanks. It's when we reflect on what has been going on in our year and we get more focused on what's important. And so today's topic is being blessed. And the topic is count your blessings all the time. And so we're going to start out by asking, what do you feel are your greatest blessings? I know that I just completely resonate with the blessing of my children. Okay. I'm sure you guys are feeling that as well. But I remember when I first got pregnant, going to my Bible and opening it up, and there was a scripture about children being a gift from God. And he talks about how they're like arrows in our quiver. Now, I am an archer. I have been doing archery since I met my first husband when we were in college. He introduced me to the sport. I haven't done it lately. I do have to admit that it's been a while, but I adore the feel of the bow in my hands. I do a natural style, which means I don't have all the bells and whistles. I use a very simple arrow. I don't kill anything, but what it does is it opens up your body, and it's such a feeling of consistency. You have to do the exact same pose every time you release an arrow, and you have a place where you bring your hand to your mouth to release that arrow. And it's almost like a ritual. And so I love my children, but I love this reference to children being like a quiver that's full of arrows, okay? Because you can shoot more with more arrows. I always, when I'm shooting, I have a lot that don't hit the target. And so the more arrows that I can shoot means I don't have to walk out, get my arrows, come back. And so I really got that scripture verse. But it says, blessed is the man whose quiver is full of arrows, meaning that has a lot of children. And so many of you know, after 25 years of marriage, I remarried a man with 6 children. So I have my original 3 and his 6. So I have a very full quiver with 9 children. And to date, we have 4 sets that are married. And so we have additional spouses, we have 1 grandbaby. We have a lot that goes on in our life, and it's so much fun. And so I definitely am counting the blessings of my children all the time. Before we get into this content today, though, I was wondering who's ready for Thanksgiving? I mean, who's ready for Black Friday? Who's ready for Cyber Saturday? How about Small Business Monday? The start of December comes right on the heels of that. Advent comes next, and then, which is preparation for Christmas, and then the Christmas holiday, if you celebrate it, is one of my favorites. I've got a conference thrown in the middle of that as well. So I am definitely going to be busy this season. And that's really what got me thinking about this topic, is that we tend this time of year to get really, really busy. And maybe we're not feeling busy, but there's a lot that goes on, right? And so all of that information gets sent to us, presented to us, is in front of us, and we get to move into what we want to consider our blessings. So let's get into the content today. And we're going to start with the first technique, which is you need a go-to technique to combat stress. And you need to know what that is. So if we know something's going to be stressful, what we want to do is be as prepared as possible to combat the stress. Now, one of my favorite techniques for combating stress is just simply heart breathing. And heart breathing is something you can do in a minute or two. And it's basically just calming yourself down, taking that big, relaxing, releasing breath, deep breath in, and then just send out all of the air out of your system. And then another deep, relaxing breath in. And each time you breathe out, you're just letting everything go that doesn't serve you, the stress that's piling up around you. All that good oxygen in your blood will make you feel better just in general. But what you're going to do when you get to that place where you're feeling centered is you want to start imagining that the breathing is happening in and out of your heart. This is a very simple technique. You can close your eyes if you want, but you just want to imagine that your heart has taken on this new ability to breathe. And after you do that a few times, what you wanted to start doing is radiating love from your heart out into your surroundings. And that can be where you are, like maybe you're in your car when you're doing this, maybe you're sitting at your desk at work, maybe you're on the couch, but you want to start radiating love all around you. And then you want to imagine that that love is so strong that it can push through any boundaries around you, and it can push out into your city, like your whole neighborhood, into your city, into your state. I purposefully try to circle each of my children with this love. I just imagine in my mind, and my spouse, of course, wherever he might be in a day. And then we go around and we go expanding. I have kids that live in Denver, in Washington State. We've got one in Dubai, the ones in Texas, and we just keep expanding that heart love, that heartfelt love out into the world. And it, of course, touches all the people in between all of that. And then I stretch it out beyond the United States, out into the world, out to all my champions all around the world. And I just allow that presence within me. And that is something that you can do in just a couple of seconds. You may have a different technique. I've taught a lot of them. I've taught tapping, where you go through the different points. There's just a simple, I believe it's like 9 points. And this basically sets your nervous system up for new information. calms it down, right? A lot of times we allow stress to affect us in our nervous system, and then we can't calm down. We Everything becomes a panic. And what we want to do is have these tools, the go-to tools that are easy for us. Maybe it's anchoring. I set some anchors with you guys with different hand positions, maybe a fist, maybe a tug on an ear. Whatever the anchor is that you set, that allows you to have a different set of emotions. Remember I think it was 2 weeks ago, we talked about emotions and the ones that we want to have, having that repertoire and kind of inventorying what do we go through emotionally each week so that we can make a choice to plant the seeds of greatness, the 10 positive emotions, one of which is to be grateful. And when we have those emotions, that this concept of going to a particular tool, when stress happens and it becomes a thing that you do often, you are going to be able to pick it up right away. So know your techniques or learn some techniques right now, because this month is coming full force. The next thing you need to know is that being in a beautiful state. Now think about, what is a beautiful state? It's not like New Hampshire in the fall, because that is a beautiful state, but it is the mindset, the state that you are in mentally, that allows you to overcome all the things that might be affecting you. Not just the silly little obstacles, the problems that present every day, but the emotions, the triggered states that we tend to be in. Everything that happens is a choice, you guys. So when we choose to be in a beautiful state, now granted, things are going to happen that throw you off sometimes, but the recovery time, the time at which you take to react to the situation, and the time at which you take then to choose, I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to be drugged down by the yuck of the world, the news that I just heard, the bill that I received in the mail that I can't pay. Whatever it is, you can choose to be in an icky predicament, or you can choose to be in a beautiful state. And like Tony Robbins says, it's in a heartbeat. It's in a click of your fingers. It is in a moment in time where you can choose to pick one of those emotions and focus on it. Remember, the positive emotions and the negative emotions are like a teeter-totter. Only one can be up versus the other. And sometimes we get caught in what we feel is a loop of emotion to emotion to emotion, positive, negative, and so on. And yeah, the teeter-totter going up and down. But have you ever got your friends stuck on a teeter-totter, right? Like you pull yourself down and they're up on the top and you're in charge. So we can choose that with our emotions. We can be like, you know what? I would rather have love in my heart and have all the things that I want to focus on be the center of my world, versus twirling around and just anything that comes into your field becomes electrified and causes you a downward spiral. Don't do that, and choose instead to be in a beautiful state. And if you need help with beautiful state, let me know. I'd be happy. I have a couple of videos on it, but I will get that parsed out for you, because I think it's so important that we understand how to prime in the mornings, how to make that choice, the choice that's good for us, right? All right, we have Margaret here this morning. Good morning, Margaret. I'm so happy to have you. We are talking about how to count all of your blessings. And it has been, we're on the third one, so you can always go back and watch the replay. I want everyone to know that, of course. And we're talking about the third one, which is practicing gratitude. Now, whether you consider it a ritual or a habit, things that you can do to increase the amount of gratitude that you feel. This is an easy to access emotion, because most of us in our lifetime have felt gratitude, and we can have gratitude for certain things. I was starting to say about the balance beam that you can't be both angry and joyful at the same time. So you get to choose to be joyful and let that anger subside. Push it to the end and say, I choose instead to be joyful. So the same thing happens with gratitude. The more we have access with our practices and with our beautiful state, then we will be able to have these habits that say, wait, I choose this, and then it'll be easier to get to. So, one of the gratitude rituals that many of you know I talk about is when you wake up in the morning. That first 20 to 30 seconds is key. Whatever emotion you are going to emote at that moment is probably going to be present in your day. It's almost like you set the stage. You decide, if I'm going to wake up in a good mood, hands over my head, it's going to be a great day. Then that helps me to target. Remember the reticular activating system. This is that thing in our brain that when we buy a certain car or we have a color that we're fascinated with, we start to see that. It's because there are so many inputs into our brain on a daily basis that our brain has to filter out. And so if we say to it, what's important to me is gratitude today, then the brain is going to be like, oh, good. Every time I see things you can be grateful for, I'm going to point them out. And then you can recognize them, have your moment of gratitude. That creates a habit. So I always recommend whatever you do, first thing out of bed or before you get, like as soon as your eyes pop open, name some things you're grateful for. Start that process of just sheer love and positive attitude. And then, of course, gratitude journals, writing throughout the day or just recognizing throughout the day all the things you're grateful for. You can even ask yourself, how can I be even more grateful in this moment? So when you find that gratitude, dig deeper, make it a big event, because we remember the really good memories, right? We remember them because we have emotional attachments behind them. So the bigger we can make our emotions, the more likely we are to have a series of events, a series of memories that are really good and positive. So really capitalize on having those emotions, that feeling, and make that a habit. Make it a habit that when you see that special thing in your house that you love, really love it. Really be grateful for the moment you got it. Be grateful for the things it reminds you of. Be grateful for the memory you have attached to it. And as you do that, you're basically stacking gratitude on everything that happens. And then before I go to bed at night, thanking the universe, God, whatever you believe in, for the life that you have. I always go to bed saying, thank you, God, for my gift, which I consider my husband my gift. And so that is something that we say. I say it to him, even if he's not awake. If I get in bed, 2 hours after he's gone to sleep and he's out cold, I still say thank you for my gift. And I do that because there's a lot of crap that happens during the day, right? A lot of things can pile on top of me and I can forget the beauty of being able to lay next to my loved one and to know that we are connected, that we are in love, that I have that I'm not alone, because I spent a lot of years stressed out, unhappy, not feeling connected. And I felt so alone. And so that is not a state that I want to be in. I choose a different habit. And even on the hard days, I still am thankful for my gift. Maybe the gift was to teach me something, right? It's funny because my kids have this thing, they were talking about it the last time I was with them, that like every Christmas I would go find these unique little gifts that were games. I got them so that we would have more games to play and try new things. But they were like, Mom, what was wrong with you? You were always getting us these like random weird gifts in games. But now they all love to play games. We have things that we can do when we're together. Even at my daughter's wedding, the one that was in Denver not too long ago, she chose to do game night as a family that evening of when all the family was together. And those are good memories for us. That's a time when, like, even when life was really crazy, we still got together as a family and had those casual conversations and times together. So you're your habits, rituals, whatever you want them to be called, practice them because they're so important when you have access to the emotions that you want at the time that you need them. But here's the thing. If you want to truly feel blessed, to count your blessings all the time, you have to want to do it. You have to find what within yourself the ability to see the blessings. You can't count what you don't agree with. So the more you want to be blessed, the more you have to look for even the littlest blessing. That desire in you to find the blessing, to find the gratitude, to find the positive emotions, that will shift you. It will create a new type of world for you. And it will allow you to have that really blessed life, the life that you're craving. Okay. So good morning, Margaret, to you too. I just saw your message there. So this week, my hope for you is don't get buried in doing stuff. There's going to be a lot of stuff to do, no doubt, but focus on what's really important. Focus on the memories that you're making with your family, the things you're going to look back on 5 years from now and remember. It's probably not the trinket or the hundreds of dollars you might spend on Black Friday. It's the experience. It's the joy that you allow to come out of you because you're not overly stressed or living in that place that doesn't feel very good. And you have access to that all the time. It's a choice, and a choice that I want you guys to make for sure. So, of all the things we've talked about, what tip are you going to take into your week? I'm very curious. Go ahead and put it in the comments. Would love to know how this information is going to support you having the best Thanksgiving week possible. We are going to be driving back to Houston. We were just there just a few days ago, but we are going to go back down, spend more time with our kids, have that Thanksgiving meal. It's really weird when your kids are making your meal for you, okay? But they are doing that. They're excited about it. Our daughter Rebecca hasn't made a turkey before, so she is foraying into her first turkey, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I remember my first turkey vividly, and I have pictures of it because it was beautiful, and I was so surprised that I made a beautiful turkey. It's much easier than they make it sound, right? And I'm really looking forward to seeing how the family does with all the sides. And since we're driving, we won't be participating with any food. So going to be very interesting. All right. Just to let you know, we are having our third week group check-in right after this at 7:30 Central. So do your time conversion. This is the group check-in. Everyone is welcome to attend. So even if you didn't attend the beginning of the week, the beginning of the month where we set our goals for the month and what we were going to be working on, I understand, but you can jump on and do the group check-in at 7:30. It's just a few minutes from now, and I'll put the Zoom into the feed when I go to the Zoom. So you are welcome to come in and do that with us and enjoy the group check-in time. And we're just going to see how things are going, what your benchmark's looking like. What's coming up after that is our end of the year event. This year, it's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, December 4th through the 6th. Reflect and grow, getting ourselves ready for 2024. Wow. And we will be having an amazing event. Anybody that's in my champions group, you can schedule a one-on-one with me for the group check-in, for the check-in. So know that that's an option if you're hearing this after today. And you're already VIP. But those of you that want to come in for the 4th through the 6th, you get, you can choose VIP, and it's just a low fee. It's going to get you extra access to me during the event, including a one-on-one and some Advent time. So I know you're going to want to do that. And for those of you that are interested in that, go ahead and put the EOY end of year hashtag on. Actually, when you go out and register for the event, you are going to be given the chance to sign up for VIP, and you're not going to see the one-on-one on there. The one-on-one is a special bonus I'm giving right now for those of you that put the hashtag end of year. So only those of you that do that will get the one-on-one. So make sure you don't forget. And that's it for this week. I really, truly wish you guys the very best Thanksgiving. And if we don't talk by then, awesome, awesome, awesome. I hope you guys have a really great week and that you have a great turkey if that's what you're celebrating. Maybe you're a ham type, but anyway, I like them both. Take care.